I woke up this morning, as usual, thinking about Nigeria and how great our country can be, and the fact that how messed up it is right now. And one of the things that I've been thinking about is this issue of, politicians always buying votes, and also the capacity for them to be able to mobilize people and have them out there. The video that has been going around about the, young lady who was talking about the fact that they were paid 1,000 naira and they hadn't even been paid upfront. They had to come there and they hadn't received their money. As sad as it is, and sometimes we look at it and think, oh, in a disgusting manner, oh, how is somebody selling his or her birthright, or how don't they have dignity? But then this morning, my thoughts are this. Is it that the politicians, by actually having a transaction with the poor where they buy their votes, or are able to mobilize them to come out and counter any protest that is going out there, or even the so-called hoodlums, get them to come and attack people, is it that they are dignifying the poor in a way because it's a transaction? So in this, let me explain it. It's crazy. Even in my head right now, it's crazy. But it's just this thought that I'm having because I'm trying to understand what is behind all of this. In this manner, the politician comes with their 500 naira, 1,000 naira, 5,000 naira, and then the people pay, because it's now so rampant. It's something that we need to sit down and actually discuss. All this while, the other day I was discussing with my mother-in-law, and she was just talking about how in the village, how people, it's across Nigeria, all parts of Nigeria, how people, they jump from one place to the other, looking, oh, who is selling the highest, who is paying the highest, and they will go without any feeling of, oh, either shame or lack of dignity or remorse. And so I've been thinking about it. Please just bear with me in this video. I'm going to ramble for a while, but it's just me trying to make a sense of this whole thing. And I'm thinking, by doing that, the politicians are sort of like putting the poor on the same level. We are coming here, you have something of importance that we want to buy, and we're paying you for it, which is different from the rest of us probably that just help, and then we are putting them in a lower position of we are helpers helping you. So when I mean by helpers is situation of where you're paying their children's school fees, where they come for you for money, where they come for one thing or the other, where you have to pay their bills, take care of their responsibility, because at the end of the day, they collect this money, they vote, or they protest against other people protesting, or they collect money and putting the wrong people into office. It all affects all of us, and the poor are more affected, and they come and you have to now bear the burden of carrying them. But you don't treat them in a transactional manner. You don't treat them in a manner that we are both unequal. So it's you come from the place of a helper, so they always feel beholden to you. But in the case of the politician, yes, they collect that money, they're going to give something, and so they're collecting this money and they're giving votes in return. Is that probably what's going on that we're not looking at? Because I'm just trying to get my head around all of this. At the end of the day, we have to get the root of this problem. We have to ensure that we have the right people in office. I've been on the streets for 7 straight years, and I can tell you that the people in office matter a lot. The kind of people you have, they matter a lot. As much as we are protesting, they have to listen and do the needful. If you're putting in people who are refusing to listen, then it's a major problem. And we need to do everything that we can to ensure that the legislative arm of government is actually populated by people who would listen, people with competence, character, capacity, courage, patriotic empathy, people who will be law-abiding, people who respect the rule of law, the separation of power, people who understand what democracy is, what good governance is, what accountability is, what transparency is. And this is the time for us also to begin to look at the masses that you help. And I said to everybody, we all have circle of influence. You have a circle of influence. Your guard, your security people, your domestic staff, your people you meet with, people you meet on the street, you buy things from. You can influence them. You can talk to them. You can tell them about things. You can put that place to say, look, I'm paying your child's school fees. I need to know you're making the right decision for your children. Because I will not pay your child's school fees and your child will not finish school, and then you now have to come back to me again for me to find a job for your child. So what decisions are you taking now? It's not even about me. It's for you to ensure that your child, when your child leaves school, they are able to have that job, or that you will not even need to come and meet me for school fees, because government would have given public schools that to be so good and that you don't need to pay for school fees. Good quality education, primary and secondary. You're telling the person, what? Oh yes, I'm paying this hospital, baby. I do not want you to be in the situation whereby you are needing money. I want you to be able to walk into any government hospital and get the best medical care that you can get, like other people get in other wards. I don't want you coming to me to come and ask for food. I want you to be able to feed yourself, to be able to have cheap food all around, to have that food security and a whole lot of things. Is it time for us also to treat them with sort of like that respect, where it's something, yeah, I'm giving you something, you too, you're giving something, so we are equal in this business, rather than just sitting down and looking at it that, oh, politicians are buying their votes, oh, don't you have shame? But you've never talked to them about their politics, you've never asked them who they vote for, you've never even tried to enlighten them. And when we're talking to them or enlightening them, it's not to stand on sometimes people stand on this pedestal, they are feeling, oh, righteous, or this they can't do that. No, until you've walked in a man's moccasin, you don't know whether you behave in the way that person has behaved. Meaning, until you walk in a man's shoes, you don't know whether you behave that way. So there's a need to not be condescending. There's a need to come down at their level. Sit down on the floor. Whether you are a professor and the person has never been to school, when it comes to democracy, you have only both one thumbprint. Like my husband would always say a professor will vote with all this another person who has never even seen the four walls of the school will cancel that vote. So it is time for us to start educating ourselves. It's time for us to come to that table of say, okay, this is what is happening. Who are you voting for? What are your choices of vote? What have you? This is A, B, C, D, because we need to get to that level. Otherwise, we'll continue to have the politicians perpetuating themselves in office by buying votes, and then we are sitting there thinking that, oh, we will shame the poor, we will shame the masses that their votes are being bought into not selling. No, they don't understand. For them, it's a business. For them, they feel worthwhile. They feel they are also bringing something to the table. So while the politician is bringing money to the table, they are bringing their vote, so they go away as equals. Whereas in our own case, it's not equal. It's this benefactor kind of a relationship, the beneficiary and the benefactor kind of relationship. Your hand is on top, and then you give them. They have to be submissive to, probably submissive, or feel beholden to it. They don't want to feel that. They want to know that they also are bringing something. So I think it's really important. Let's begin to look at this from that idea and not just stay away. We must change this narrative. We must, and politics is everything. If we don't fix our politics, that's why this initiative called Fix Politics, amazing initiative, study that Dr. Obi Ezekwesili had done after she left, stepped down from the presidential race in 2019. Those are part of the things she was saying she was going to look into, which was fixing politics, and that's what she's doing right now. It's amazing, because at the end of the day, if we don't fix politics, we can never fix Nigeria. If we don't get the right people into offices, from councillor to chairman to state houses of assembly to governor to national assembly to the president, if we don't get in the right people there, we are not going to get anywhere. We are going to be all of this vicious circle of continuously demanding. Today, protests are going on. Today, we are doing so much. Years ago, the same protests were done. I remember all before democracy, the people that actually fought for democracy ended up not being part of democracy. They just left. They stood on the sideline. They were like, okay, no, they don't want to be part of governance and all of that. And hoodlums basically came in and hijacked that democracy. And 4 years after, when they realized that, oh, they needed to be part of it, those hoodlums had entrenched themselves and began all of this, getting people to defend them and ensure they are always there. We also need to do something. This is no longer just about sitting away. We can't all sit away. Every one of us must be involved in politics. You will either be running for office, or you be campaigning for people running for office, or you're helping to raise money for people running for office, or you're making demands on those who are being voted for. Every one of us must take part in it. We must fix politics to be able to fix Nigeria. And this is the time we need to think out of the box. The normal hasn't worked. We need to do abnormal. We have to. This is the time for every one of us to begin to think out of the box. Thank you for listening. Thank you.